If Red Sox fans are the foundation upon which the franchise has been built, it is appropriate that on March 9, 1901, it was a fan, Hi Dixwell, who broke earth for the Huntington Avenue grounds. The home of the Boston charter member of the newly formed American League. Right from day one, the franchise became a newsworthy item. The Americans brazenly raided the established Boston National League team and signed Jimmy Collins, baseball's greatest third baseman, who would double as manager. If they wore numbers in his day, Jimmy Collins would have worn number 1. Not only was he the Americans' first player and first manager, he also had the team's first hit and scored its first run. Among his admirers was John L. Sullivan, the Boston strong boy and the first heavyweight champion of the world. Their credibility in the Boston sports landscape became forever and firmly entrenched when they lured Cy Young from St. Louis. Befitting his status as baseball's premier pitcher, Young insisted that he bring with him his personal catcher, Lou Krieger, a renowned defensive specialist. The Americans' popularity reached frenzied proportions in 1903 when they played in baseball's first World Series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. A crowd of more than 16,000 was so unexpected in the 9,000-seat grounds that some of the Americans, including Cy Young, manned the ticket booths. The police were called in to move the crowd back when they invaded the field for a close-up look at the teams warming up. The meeting place for so many of these Boston baseball fans was the Third Base Saloon in Boston's South End, where proprietor Michael "Nuff Said" McGreevy ruled. McGreevy was Boston's first baseball raconteur, who dispensed drinks with one fist and ended arguments with the other when he pounded it on the bar and proclaimed, "Nuff said." So vocal were these fans, called the Royal Rooters, that when the Americans beat Pittsburgh to capture that first World Series, the Pirates said that it was due to the distraction caused by the Rooters singing an annoying song called Tessie. If ever there was a World Series for a team to celebrate with their fans, this was it. Of course, it did not hurt Boston's cause that they possessed baseball's first king of pitchers in one Cy, as in Cyclone, Young. Usually pitching with just a day or two of rest between starts, Young posted 33 wins for the world champs. In 1904, he pitched the modern era's first perfect game, as the Americans captured their second consecutive American League pennant. But there would not be another world champion flag to raise on Huntington Avenue. It seemed the National League champion New York Giants considered it beneath them to be on the same field as a team from the upstart American League. For Cy Young, there is consolation. He is the only pitcher in baseball history to record more than 500 victories. Cy Young, baseball's first pitching legend, is forever immortalized, as the game's most prestigious pitching award bears his name. In 1907, Red Sox owner John I. Taylor seized upon the fact that the rival Boston Nationals made a uniform change by slipping out of their red stockings. Taylor was inspired by the style and adopted it and a new moniker for his nine, the Boston Red Sox, a name that was also headline-friendly for his family's other enterprise, the Boston Globe. In 1912, the team embarked on what would turn out to be one of the great years in Red Sox history. While the ball players were getting in shape by hiking through the woods at their spring training site in Hot Springs, Arkansas, in full equipment including spikes, no less, owner Taylor was getting a new home ready for his Red Sox in Boston. He named the park Fenway Park because, as he reasoned, it's in the Fenway section of Boston, isn't it?
Unlike almost any other city, maybe Brooklyn, Boston has been about a neighborhood game. The fact that the Huntington Avenue grounds was where it was, Fenway where it was saying, this is our neighborhood place. This is where we go to be together.
The original Fenway Park consisted of an uncovered left field grandstand, a roof covering the right field stands, and wood bleachers in center field. On April 20th, 1912, Fenway Park opened as the new home for the Red Sox. And with it was unveiled an idiosyncratic 25-foot wall in left field. The Red Sox were a serious subject. The Boston Globe reported that no time was wasted in childish charades. The Red Sox, before a crowd of 24,000 fans, beat the New York Highlanders 7-6 in an event that shared page one billing with the sinking of the Titanic. The game was also another in a long series of emotional affairs with the Highlanders, who 1 year later would become known as the Yankees. Just 6 days after the opening, light-hitting Hugh Bradley of Worcester swatted a home run over the fence at Fenway. This surprised the experts, who in the dead ball era had predicted that it might be years before that happened. And they certainly never expected it would come off the bat of Bradley. It was the second and last home run of his major league career. The dead ball era demanded defensive stalwarts, and the Red Sox had the best in the fabled golden outfield of Duffy Lewis, Tris Speaker, and Harry Hooper. Center fielder Tris Speaker possessed a strong and accurate arm, and his single-season record of 35 assists still stands as a Red Sox record. He combined his defensive prowess with a .344 career batting average, an average that remained untouched as a Red Sox record until tied 5 decades later by Ted Williams. Tris Speaker was a superstar, well before that term was introduced. Right fielder Harry Hooper was a college graduate with a degree in civil engineering. After Hooper signed a contract for $2,850, John Taylor approached him about putting the degree to use in the construction of the new Fenway Park. Instead, Hooper put his strong arm to use to cut down enemy runners who tried to advance a base. Harry Hooper is the Red Sox all-time leader in assists. Left field possessed another Fenway idiosyncrasy in the form of a 10-foot slope in front of the wall that was also used as a seating area for overflow crowds. This area became known as Duffy's Cliff, named for Duffy Lewis, the player who mastered it by running up and down it to track down fly balls. The golden outfield of Speaker, Hooper, and Lewis was fortified on the mound by Smokey Joe Wood. In 1912, Wood reeled off 13 straight wins, setting up an epic duel with the fireballing strikeout king, the Washington Senators' Walter Johnson. Johnson had just completed a 16-game winning streak of his own.
Walter Johnson had his 16 straight, and he was beaten on his 17th. And I had about 11 or 12, and I was on my way to beat. I never even gave it a thought about beating Johnson's record, and that's what got the crowd in. Don't ever remember a crowd being up around the home plate. They were all over around the home plate, and it opened up to let me warm up for the game and so on.
But Wood sent them home happy, emerging victorious in a 1-0 classic that was as good as advertised. Of Wood, the gracious Walter Johnson said, "Can I throw harder than Joe Wood? Listen, my friend, there is no man alive who can throw harder than Smokey Joe Wood." Wood finished the greatest season ever by a Red Sox pitcher by compiling a club record 34 victories. But the best was yet to come in the World Series of 1912, as he added 3 more wins against the New York Giants. In the clinching win, he bested legendary pitcher Christy Mathewson. The Red Sox World Championship provided the exclamation point on their inaugural season in Fenway Park. And life was especially good for Smokey Joe Wood and his roommate Tris Speaker, the most valuable player. But it was Wood who was the toast of the town in a parade that stretched from Fenway Park to Faneuil Hall.
Maybe the best thing that you could ever have been in American sports history was to be Smokey Joe Wood in 1912. At the peak of your physical powers, living in a city that was captivated by baseball in those innocent times, life must have been pretty good for Smokey Joe Wood. I wouldn't mind trade places with him that year.